Has wokeness and PC crap ruined comedy? Well, legendary comedian and actor Jerry Seinfeld, most known for the creation of the TV show Seinfeld, is saying that PC crap has truly ruined modern-day comedy. Now, he said this on the New Yorker Radio Hour podcast. We're going to react to the clip. Let's hear what he has to say.
Nothing really affects comedy. People always need it. They need it so badly, and they don't get it. It used to be you would go home at the end of the day, most people would go, oh, Cheers is on, oh, MASH is on, oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on, All in the Family's on. You just expected, there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Mm-hmm. When you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy. They move the gates, like in skiing. Yeah. Culture, the gates are moving. Your job is to be agile and clever enough that wherever they put the gates, I'm going to make the gate.
All right, so that stirred up a lot of controversy. You wouldn't think something so benign would create this big action of people coming back with backlash and talking to Jerry Seinfeld about the fact that true comedy still exists. But here's the reality. We often talk about on this show the fact that comedy is sort of the final frontier of free speech, that all is fair within comedy and everybody should be able to be made fun of. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be offended by the joke that's made. It's just to say that comedy exists for all people of all different backgrounds, races, creeds, colors, sizes. You input XYZ, you should be able to make fun of it. But we exist in a time where that's not so clear anymore. And we have a lot of people getting offended by the jokes that comedians make and things that are sheerly meant for your entertainment. We've seen it with Dave Chappelle, who made a transgender joke in a recent special that had everybody up in arms, created a whole bunch of backlash, and had Netflix employees calling for Netflix to actually remove his special from the platform. Clearly, we're seeing stuff within this realm of comedy and entertainment that is giving way to censorship and people being so offended by certain statements that they feel the need to get rid of certain shows or to deplatform and to cancel certain comedians. And I think that's what Jerry Seinfeld is talking about. Now, it's interesting that he chooses to actually call out the left. It's a no-no. It's a tisk-tisk within Hollywood to actually say those words out loud, and he decided to do it. I wonder what the straw that broke the camel's back was in this case, where he felt like he wanted to be vocal about its effect on comedy. But of course, a lot of people had something to say about the statement he made because he's sort of insinuating that shows like Seinfeld could not be created today. And we've heard this many a time before, that if you told the same jokes that were being told back in the early 2000s or the early 2010s, the shows would not be greenlit. They would not make it to air. And I agree with that sentiment. We all know what Hollywood looks like today. We know what these writer rooms look like today. And he points out the fact that you can write a script and it passes from hands to hands to hands, and each and every person is offended by something and is striking something from the script that will no longer be seen if and when the TV show makes it to the big screen. But a lot of comedy writers actually came after Jerry Seinfeld for this statement, saying, you know what, I have a show that is funny and it's not PC and it's out on the air. You guys will probably know the name Rob McElhenney. He is the creator, or one of the creators and participants in It's Always Sunny, which, you know, is a pretty crass comedy show that's out on TV, but it's been there for quite some time, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Let's look at Rob's response. So Jerry Seinfeld started talking about certain jokes in Seinfeld that would not be made in today's time when it comes to TV, and there's a specific joke that he referenced where Kramer decides to start a business of having homeless people pull rickshaws, and he says, you know, that could no longer be on the big screen today. Well, Rob McElhenney of It's Always Sunny responded with one of their sort of non-PC homeless characters writers saying the word probably, which is essentially saying, hey, you know, we made a show that's not PC, that pushes the boundaries of comedy, and it still exists and people still watch it. And he's making the assertion that wokeness is not truly affecting comedy all that much, that Jerry Seinfeld is making excuses as to why shows like Seinfeld cannot be created today when there are shows like It's Always Sunny that exist and people are watching. But Rob McElhenney should know better than anyone else that several episodes of his show, It's Always Sunny, have been censored due to the fact that they were deemed to be offensive. And there's many an article on this. The show uses, you know, blackface or brown face or things that have been deemed to be controversial. And instead of allowing, in the space of comedy, those jokes to exist and people to be able to stream those episodes, they've decided to censor them. So I think that's exactly what Jerry Seinfeld is talking about. The PC crap that is changing the landscape of comedy and changing what is allowed within the space of making jokes. Now, others have chosen to point to other TV shows that exist in the realm of comedy that are still going on, that are not particularly PC. One of the shows that people are talking about is Veep, featuring Julia Louis-Dreyfus, which, of course, she was also an actress on Seinfeld, so I guess it makes sense to start bringing in her newer TV shows into the fold. They're saying this show is not PC. They tell hilarious jokes, and they're on HBO, so what do you have to say about that? But again, this, just like It's Always Sunny, is a show that's been around for quite some time, and I think got greenlit in a period where we were okay with non-PC jokes in comedy. And it seems like everywhere you turn where we can find these sort of non-PC examples of comedy, it's people who are grandfathered into the system. You have shows like It's Always Sunny, Veep, comedians like Dave Chappelle or Norm Macdonald, may he rest in peace, Curb Your Enthusiasm. These are all areas where we can point to that because they've existed in the space of comedy for so long, they are allowed to be non-politically correct. They've sort of built that name for themselves and proven themselves within the space of comedy. I doubt that we will see very many new comedians who are able to push the envelope of being politically correct come to be as successful as some of these grandfathered in examples that we have. And how that's lost on the Rob McElhenneys of the world is sort of beyond me, because I think what Jerry Seinfeld is pointing out is something really profound in a space that is much needed in our society. If we don't have comedic relief, if we're not able to laugh at ourselves and at one another, then what do we have? Sometimes happiness and laughter is the only thing that saves us from bad days. And if we can't do that freely, with free speech in mind, and without political correctness in mind, what's the fun of comedy? In fact, it's pretty antithetical to the point of comedy itself. And Jerry Seinfeld has awoken to that issue, being somebody who's long been a legendary comedian in this space. And maybe instead of trying to contradict the point he's making, we should open up our ears and listen. But those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with me, duke it out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.